I would ask if you all missed us, but I know the answer is absolutely not, because that means you have to listen to more of me. And I know nobody wants any of that. Right, guys?
No.
No.
I'm kind of okay with it.
Who are you and
Suck
what have you
up.
done with OPT?
He just wants more airtime.
Right.
Yeah, no kidding. So welcome back, everybody. As you can see, this is a special Memorial Day edition of Bay City Chronicles. Not because it's Memorial Day, but because of scheduling conflicts and vacations. This worked out better than Sunday night. I'm not going to blame anybody, but we all know who to blame.
It's always me.
I was
No
actually...
one's entertaining it.
Yep. So... Anyway, welcome back, everybody. This is going to be the finale of Volume 4. Maybe a couple of parts, depending on how things go tonight. But I know we are getting into the end game here. No, not that end game. We don't have that kind of a budget. But what we do have...
Not with that attitude, we don't.
But what we do have is these four crazy people who believed in the fake contract that we drafted up. Eventually, they potentially might see a couple of pennies in the mail. It helps when you have a lawyer on staff. Isn't that right, OPT?
Indeed, because where do you think all that money's going, just out of curiosity? Anyway.
Who do you think drew up the contract?
Right, exactly. Yeah, because we're not even affiliated.
You know what, though? Honestly, TG, for the next book that we do of this comic series, I want double what I'm getting now.
I can do that for you, my friend. I can absolutely do that. I will have my lawyer draft up another contract for you, and we will absolutely take care of that for you. You will have the exact same amount of zeros in your contract that Kit Harington does. Anyway, that's Crimson Havoc, everybody. Anybody else with any requests, or do I just get to introduce the last two people?
Yeah, just knock it out of the park there.
Okay, I mean, the one with the cheeky smile going on, that's Nerestra. And Dark Falls, remember to put his microphone down before we started. It's all good, everybody.
He didn't walk away from the mic yet. Wait until he does that and comes back.
That's
That'll
true.
happen just once, maybe twice.
It will. There'll probably be a kill steal involved.
That's what I do best.
I am your host, TGE. Thank you all for being with us. And we were talking about this before we came live. It's been over a year since we started this crazy journey, and holy crap, we survived and didn't kill each other.
There's still time.
There is still time, yes, but we survived. So what happened last time? I know it's been a couple of weeks. We had that lovely little interlude to Middleton City. Whatever you do, we have learned, don't take Travis to Walmart. Bad things happen when that goes on.
I don't know what you're talking about. Look, I'm just trying to stay on schedule here, but by you taking a little bit more time and me having to waste my time coming back to shop a day early.
So I missed last week because I was doing other things. So I have no idea what happened last week.
Well, last week we said we were off in Middleton City.
Yeah.
Travis happened, exactly. Go ahead, and if you haven't, please go to the YouTube page for Bay City Chronicles. OPT is going to post it in chat for you here. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check out the Middleton City stuff. Also, make sure if any episodes you might have missed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Take care of that. Anyway, we've got a summary to do. We've got an arc to get to. So last time, you guys were still mulling around Stonehenge. And, well, you guys found a bunch of really crazy stuff. Basically, there was a weird, crazy meeting thing happening in Phantasm's head. He got all really silent, creepy-like. And y'all kind of figured out that you had to go, well, back to the forest around the original Tintagel Castle. And hi, we got a baby! Say hi to the baby, everybody.
Aww!
We have our newest hero here. Aww. Okay, I can't compete with that level of adorableness here.
Nope.
I can't.
You can't compete with any level of adorableness.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I mean, he's not wrong, but that's just... Oh. Okay, after that adorable distraction, you guys went back to the forest in Tintagel Castle and determined that you needed the 4 medallions you had acquired to get something. So you found where you need to go. You figured out the trick to the order of the medallions, placing them in this door in the middle of a clearing in Tintagel Castle. This clearing led off to the screen you sort of see here, which was the Realm of the Dead. In here, you came across a couple of people, I guess you could say, who basically were trying to figure out why you had come here to find the scabbard of Excalibur. And you guys managed to avoid a fight by basically throwing your hearts out on the table and saying, this is what happened. And this is why. You managed to acquire the scabbard and made your way back out of the land of the dead, made your way back to the airplane, and you are heading back to, I believe, New Orleans, so you could get all of your allies together and craft the final assault.
Nolans.
Also, before we start, okay, actually, I'm going to rephrase that. This, again, is the finale of Book 4, Fate's Favor. And before we get into our comic proper, we're going to open up they're going to open up the comic, and there's going to be just a couple of panels inside Tintagel Castle, inside the throne room. And there's Kismet sitting there, and there's a couple of people we have seen before sort of talking to her. There is the guy from the first episode of Volume 4 in the armor, who we know is Quinn, who Phantasm fought back at the college, and he in Volume 1, and he has the big armor. He's sitting there. What appears to be a ghostly version of the knight you guys fought at Arthur's tomb is sitting there, and they're talking. And the conversation is basically to the effect of, they know you've got the scabbard, they know you're coming, and they're trying to formulate what to do, if they should send out the armies. And the final panel of the conversation is just Kismet going, quiet. Let them come. Fate is mine to control. There is no way it would favor them. And then we turn the page back to you guys, and we're going to go ahead and have the plane have landed in Audubon Park, back in New Orleans, and we will go from there. So,
Hold on, what time of day is it when we land?
Whatever time of day you want it to be.
Okay, so if it's morning, the very next comic panel is Lucha standing in the kitchen with the chef's hat on, making breakfast.
Also, quick addendum: the main reason for going back to New Orleans is because of the ring.
Right.
So when I get up, I go down and sit in the living room, ominously waiting for everyone else to get up.
Well, Lutra's already awake, and something smells a little on the toasty side.
Yeah.
In the kitchen.
He didn't go to sleep. He just landed and he started making breakfast. He's basically like sleep cooking. It shows. What was the grid again? I don't remember. How much water did this need again? I forget. Is this coming out okay? It smells kind of... You know what? I'm thinking alright.
Phantasm overhears that and gets up, walks over to Lutra, sets a fire extinguisher down on the counter, and walks away.
Huh?
And Lutra looks down at the fire extinguisher, which he doesn't remember from being there before. And this is a note, and it says, just in case, and it just has the initial of V.
And seeing this, I think Lucha just... Well, actually, you know what? Hold on a second. I need to roll something. This is just for me.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. He keeps cooking.
So Lutra is cooking. Fant is drinking coffee? Question mark?
Would be tea.
Fand is definitely more of a tea guy.
Yeah. Well, here's the coffee one.
So this is all going on. What are you guys doing?
So Anton walks into the kitchen at this point. What is that awful smell? Lutra?
I don't think the grits are very good.
At this point, Anton picks up the fire extinguisher and sprays the
Dude,
food
nothing's
and-
on fire.
and Lutra.
It's just coming out very badly.
Just stop. We'll order breakfast from somewhere. It's not edible.
Yeah, you're probably right. Lucha at this point kind of stops cooking and then just kind of leans on you and falls asleep.
So Melchior at this point wakes up from whatever happened to him last week.
So, yeah, go ahead.
As far as falling unconscious, and he wakes up and kind of just shakes his head to clear the cobwebs out. Then walks into the den where Phantasm is and plops into his own seat and asks Phantasm what the heck is going on.
All right, before you get a response, go ahead and give me an insight check, please. Okay, so as you ask the question, and before you can get a response from Phantasm, you sort of get this sort of swirling, like, almost hurts kind of memories in your head, and you're getting some sort of, like, weird visions, and what you see is you're not quite sure what it's supposed to be, but you definitely see the scabbard that they got sort of glowing in the middle of this magical field, and you hear, like, you see the scabbard. You don't sort of see anybody else around, but in your head you hear this sort of sing-songy language in sort of chanting. You're pretty sure you've heard it before, and the only time you can remember hearing something similar to this was when you guys got thrown into this future the first time. That same sort of sing-songy chanting was what Ven was chanting and using to create the spell to send you back to your initial time. But this time you hear it in a much more grandiose sort of feel, and you hear the chanting, and there is lots of power sort of emanating outward from the scabbard. And then you ask your question.
So as I'm asking, I guess I would be interrupted by the sudden pain in my head. I would
Basically,
kind of,
yep.
grasp my, like, kind of facepalm, but not quite. And then shake my head and just ask Phantasm, where it said scabbard was so I could take a look at it.
I don't know. Anton had the scabbard. It's his scabbard. It's his sword.
So Melchior would get up and head into the kitchen to find Anton kind of wobbly a little bit.
Basically, you enter one door of the kitchen as Anton is walking out the other with a passed out Lutra, sort of adorably baby carrying him, I guess.
It just snuggles into Anton.
For the record, Anton is not very snuggly.
Yeah, but Lucha's mostly asleep, so he doesn't notice or care.
True. At this point, both Ven and Graham are starting to make their way downstairs. One of which because he's awake, the other of which because the smell of burnt grits has pervaded upstairs.
Anton, let me see that scabbard you guys found.
Yeah, sure. Here you go.
Can I do a perception check to see if I notice anything odd about it?
You certainly can. Wow! Okay, who are you and what have you done with Dark Falls? Because that is 2 good rolls he's had in a row tonight.
Well, he takes a couple weeks off. He's got it built up, apparently.
Yeah. Remember all those bad rolls that Krim had last week?
I mean,
So
my
you're
luck
taking-
can't hold out forever, and I mean, I have to
No.
have a good
So
roll
you're taking a look
occasionally.
at this, and you don't sort of know what it says, but no one sort of took the time to thoroughly examine this. But you're taking a look at it, and there is the design on this scabbard is extremely intricate. But looking really closely, you manage to see that sort of etched in between the designs seems to be writing. And I assume Malkir does not speak Latin.
Malkir does not. I would, but Malkir would not know.
Right. Well, I mean, I will give you that you've seen Latin, you can recognize it as Latin, but you don't know what it says. But there is an inscription starting from the top where the sword would enter the scabbard, sort of looping its way up and down in between the etchings. There is something written.
Actually, I might have language. Hold on one second. Let me look at my board first.
Yeah. So as he's sort of going over this, what's everybody else doing? Well, Lutra's muttering about burning the fish.
Right.
Well, once Graham gets down the stairs, Vance sort of looks at him and just points to his finger.
Wait, you're pointing at Graham's finger or your finger? Push to talk. Can't hear you.
I said he was doing this.
Oh. He comes over. Yeah, and?
Could I have the ring again?
Okay. You can see him sort of grasping at it. He goes and undoes the chain again and hands you the ring.
I may need to hang on to this for just a little bit. It's the only way I can contact Marlene right now.
I suppose that's okay.
So while they're talking, Malkir would take the scabbard to the nearest computer and load up Google Translate and start typing in the.
You don't have to do that because you have someone who speaks Latin in the room. So as soon as he sees you typing Latin translation, he starts typing the characters. Ven walks over, and he sort of reads what it says, and as he's reading it, you see his eyes sort of just get like huge, like like when you're a kid and you open that Christmas present, that Christmas present. His eyes get that basically big, and he sort of has this oh crap look on his face, and he just goes, okay. That, you're not going to find a translation of that online. Well, you might, a literal translation, but that's a spell incantation. And well, hold on, let me think here for a second. Okay, yep. That might just be the spell we need to at least get you guys inside to fight her.
And how do we utilize said spell? Do you have an idea of that?
You don't, I do. Basically,
So I'm assuming that means you want to come with us then?
Yes and no. The spell like this needs a powerful focus. And I don't just mean the scabbard itself. I mean something that will amplify its potency to where it will be able to affect her inside the castle. So we basically have to split into two teams. You guys forming the raiding party to go to Tintagel Castle. And me going to the only place I can think of that can harness that much magical energy.
So at this point, Malkir would try to wake up Lucha and start filling them in on on the scroll and all that, the scripture.
I'm away. Huh? Oh, sorry, something going on. Huh? Oh, hi. Oh, Malkir, you're awake. Hi.
Lucha
Are
already
you
found
awake?
something.
Oh, okay.
At this point, Graham walks in with just a bowl of Frosted Flakes and starts eating them.
Do we have any coffee or something? Maybe tea? Or something that has some kick to it? Because I need to wake up.
Malkir reaches into his duster pocket and takes out some smelling salts and just kind of waves them under Lucha's nose.
I said...
At this point, you see Graham walk back into the kitchen. You hear some noise of like dripping, and you see he brings out a hot cup and just puts it in front of Lutra. Cream and 2 sugars.
Oh, thank you.
Well, now that we're all covered in otter snot,
It's smelling salts, not pepper.
It's funny.
Covers his nose. Jeez.
I'm more surprised that he had to pull it out for you to smell it.
Well, you have to pull it out and crack it to actually use it.
Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that would, like... You would just be, like, screwing up everybody you were around.
Right. Smelling salt is very pervasive.
Mm-hmm. It'd be like just spraying pepper spray alongside you as you walk down the road.
Yeah. So as this is happening, you sort of we get another comic panel that's sort of Lutra just sort of doing one of these things on his nose with the like he's rubbing his nose with one hand, he's got the coffee in the other hand. Malkir at this point has put the scabbard down and has resumed his Sudoku because it's Malkir and we need to finish his Sudoku. Even before the world's going to end, we got to do our Sudoku. Fant is sort of thumbing with the ring. Ven at this point is, you can see him sort of like off in the distance. He's like going to get his stuff, and then Graham is furiously texting on his phone, and we get the little bubble from the phone, and it just says a group text, and it just emergency, get here now. And if you really zoom in close, you can see the names on the text group, and it's sending a text to Ben. It's sending a text to Dr. Casey. Basically, Graham is, knowing his father is going to try and run off solo, is calling in reinforcement.
So Lucha does pipe up because he was thinking of this as he was kind of hearing this. Like, hey, I may have been half asleep or mostly asleep, but I heard you say something about 2 teams. And you said us, and then you. That's more like us and you. That's not 2 teams. Are you going by yourself?
At this point, you just hear from the other room, yes, I am. Because you need to stop her.
Well, I get that, but why are you going by yourself? Shouldn't you take someone else with you?
Well, I'm not putting my son in danger. Who else am I going to bring?
I'm sure there's other people.
Or one of us.
Yeah.
Someone's got to protect you while you're doing the spell, or it won't matter.
I mean, there's plenty of people could help out with this, right?
Again, if you can come up with people who are willing to do that, by all means, let me know. As I thought. So at this point, he comes back out, and he doesn't look any different, but anyone who knows anything about superheroes knows that his costume was underneath what he's currently wearing. Because secret identities.
Right. crap, I should look into one of those ones. Oh, wait, I used to have one. Oh, well. Actually, I guess I still do have one. So, Lucha's currently, sort of exercising to kind of pump the adrenaline back up so he wakes himself up rather than simply being up on caffeine and smelling salts.
Caffeine and smelling salts.
It's kind of a very strange combination of which I never thought I'd actually say, but there you go.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, can you wake up a bit more naturally so that I don't have to worry about crossbows in the butt?
Oh, I mean, I was going to try, but somebody decided it was a good idea to wake me up with smelling salts.
You hear that sound and you look and... You hear that sound and you look and it's not actually a crossbow bolt to Anton's armor. Graham has just dropped a handful of forks. Because any chance I have for that sound effect is a...
So Malkir goes over to Phantasm and explains about the writing on the scabbard.
Well, we will see how that response handles in a minute when we get our Phantasm back, who currently is probably having a nice discussion with this ring. And almost like we planned it.
Well, I still have my headphones on.
Okay, well, now Malkir goes over to Phantasm and explains what was going on with the scabbard and the writing on it, and explains to him what Graham told him, or Fen told him, I should say.
Yeah, the incantation.
So we should probably get moving at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to do right now. I kind of have to talk to someone. So, yeah. Hopefully I can get in touch.
All right. How does it look when you're trying to get in touch with Merlin?
Basically, Phantasm is turning the ring in his fingers, in between his thumb and his forefinger, and has his eyes closed and is muttering. And it's really not discernible what he's saying. But basically, it is him telling Merlin that they have the scabbard, that we're preparing to take it to Stonehenge, and we're going to basically go confront Kismet, but he needs his guidance.
You sort of... You do this, you're fiddling with the ring, and for the first, 30 seconds, nothing happens. And then you sort of get this sort of thought in your head that says, and this is a conversation sort of actually happening, and you sort of hear this, guidance for what?
Well, I'm pretty much assuming that it's going to be straightforward. We take the scabbard to Stonehenge, then does the incantation, which will open up access for us to get into the castle and stuff like that. And that seems too easy. So what do we expect?
Everything she has in her arsenal. Or maybe knowing her and her ego. Her and maybe her closest advisors, and that's it. because she is supremely confident that her ability to manipulate fate is so much that it doesn't matter what spells you have on your side, that she will win. She believes she is fate's favorite.
But you and I know there's one slight obstacle for her in that regard.
Yes, someone who shouldn't be here.
So the question is how does that break her control over all this?
That is something even I do not know. But what I do know is this. Go, stop her, save the world. And I'll be waiting for you when you get back. And with that, the communication cuts off.
Vamp pockets the ring. More as a good luck charm, sort of like a superstitious type thing, rather than anything else.
Yeah. So you meet a couple more panels of sort of everyone sort of getting ready, and then the last panel is you guys sort of getting ready to leave. And as you open the door to leave, you're greeted by 3 very familiar faces. Well, 2 familiar faces and a robot. So standing there in front of you, you see Ben with swords blaring. You see Dr. Casey with that big gun he had from way back when. And then you see a robot, which you can pretty much assume is where Hunter's consciousness has been uploaded to.
Lucha, you see Lucha just kind of like wide. It's like, oh my gosh, hi guys! He just jumps in and like hugs everybody, including the robot.
It's very metallic.
It's okay.
Malkir just audibly sighs.
He seems quite hyper now. Oh guys, it's great to see you! I can't believe you're all here! Oh my gosh, it's so great! It's so great! Oh my gosh, it's so good to see all of you again!
You just hear this because even though he doesn't need it, the cocking action of the Tesla rifle is just too cool to not have the onomatopoeia for.
Right.
And then he goes, "Let's go kick some," and then it cuts off before the next panel as we turn the page. So
Malkir just mutters under his breath, "Oh great, more babysitting."
are you guys taking all one jet, or are you separating into 2 parties? Because there are technically 2 jets here.
Yeah, I feel like if they're gonna go do
Probably
something else, we
take
should.
2
Yeah.
jets.
All right. So we'll sort of do the comic panel stuff for them out of the way. They end up at Stonehenge. You sort of basically see the 3 of them set up a perimeter as Van sort of does some weird magic stuff, finds what is effectively the exact center of Stonehenge, plants the scabbard in there, and just sort of starts standing over it and chanting. In the comic, you can see he's sort of chanting in that same sing-songy tone that Malkir saw in his vision, and he's chanting the incantation that was on the scabbard. And the more he chants, the more you sort of see not just the greens you would see from his magic, but you see the purples and the blacks you'd see from Fant. You see some blues. Basically, you see a lot of the same colors of magic that you've seen from everybody who's utilized it throughout this journey. There's a little bit of everybody mixed in. And as he's sort of doing this, you see just to try and stop this, you see different of the remaining Zodiac Braves that are under Kismet's control, just sort of bombarding. We get a panel of just of Dr. Casey taking that giant Tesla shotgun, hitting a button, it splits into 2, and he starts dual-wielding Tesla pistols. Machine Tesla pistols, by the way. And you just hear all kinds of different onomatopoeia there. You see Ben, who is used to fighting these at this point, just going full-on, like, dervish. And then you see the Hunter robot, who basically just sort of the fingertips just sort of shoot up, and he has nanotech finger cannons that he's just sort of shooting nanotech bullets out at all of these things. And you just get a full page spread of all of that happening. While in the middle of this, you see the little figure of Ben chanting, and then just more and more and more magic pouring from this. And then we cut to you guys in the plane. What are you doing?
Flying the plane.
I was gonna say
Same thing we do every time.
right. I like so we come from an action-packed comic panel of that to I don't know everyone doing whatever and Lucha like on a sofa just hopping up and down because he can't calm down at this point.
Malkir is cleaning the dragon slime and other remnants off his daggers finally and getting them back into fighting shape.
So you guys are approaching Tintagel Castle. How are you? Oh, go ahead.
So Anton is trying to communicate with Arthur to understand their foe. He's trying to discuss, what Arthur knows about Kismet and what tactics they should use, since he would be one to know.
You get no response, and I'm actually going to give you a hero point for that. So
I need that.
You have no Arthur right now. I'm also going to give everybody else a second because that tactical information probably could have been, useful. But of other things happening, you don't have access to it. So everyone just go ahead and take an extra hero. So y'all have two. How? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. You go ahead first.
I was going to ask, how are you approaching the castle? Are you landing and walking in? Are you doing the skydive thing again? Just describe me how it looks.
Well, before we do that part, there's one thing that needs to happen before we get there.
Gotta take a selfie?
No.
Which was asking a question.
Let's just bouncing up and down and goes, Hey, Anton. Hey, Malkir. Hey, Phantasm. Guys.
Yes, Lucha.
Guys.
Lucha.
I got a question. It's kind of been bugging me for quite some time now, and I really want to know what the answer to this question is before we go into all of this.
Okay, fire away.
So what are we gonna do when we get back home?
Let's get back home.
Oh, we're gonna get back home. I know we are. But what are we gonna do when we get back home? Can we go water skiing again? Oh my gosh, that'd be so great.
I have places I need to go to finalize some loose ends for myself. It depends on what happens here, I suppose.
Yeah, let's just make sure we get back home, Lutra.
No,
Then
we're
we
gonna
can decide what we do.
Oh, we're gonna get back home. I know it because we've gone through everything so far. We can do it.
Yes, but remember, Kismet is messing with fate while we're here.
Yeah, it's kind of awful and whatnot, but we've got everything going for us right now too. So I feel great about all of this.
All right, so you ready to jump?
Yeah, let's do it. Wait, what?
The next panel is just Lucha going,
Whoa! Exactly. Like, wait, what?
It's just going through the next four panels.
What you just see is you see Anton grab Lutra. Anton was slipping on his parachute while Lutra was asking the question. You see Anton grab Lutra and jump out the back of the plane. Sword drawn, kind of, dive bombing with the sword straight towards the castle.
Before we get too far, Lutra, go ahead and give a perception check.
Oh, okay, 1 sec.
And take 10 off of it for the caffeine buzz.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You may not have really worried about it, but you noticed that Phantasm was purposely avoiding answering that question.
Valkyrie just dissipates into a pile of ash and smokes down to the landing spot.
So yeah, we get the cool sort of individual landing panel of Anton landing full on with the superhero 3-point. It looks absolutely badass. Then Malkier sort of appears in this ridiculous pyre of flame standing right next to him, scythe drawn, ready to go. Fan, what do you do?
When they're landing, Fant sort of just lands as smoke, just walking right towards the door.
And somehow, and I don't know how, but somehow Lutra ends up snout first planted on the ground.
Well, because Anton lands like 3-point stance,
Right.
forgetting that he had grabbed Lutra, so he just sort of lets Lutra go, and Lutra's like,
Ow! Ow!
Oh, sorry. My bad. Thought you put a parachute on.
What? You didn't even give me a chance to do that!
Malcolm reaches into his duster again and tosses Lutra like a insta ice pack.
Oh, thank you.
We get the next comic book panel. It's Lucha with an ice pack, and then one of like the little napkin stuffed up for the bloody nose.
As we're walking towards the final play.
Kismet's gonna be so intimidated by you there. Luke.
I came in with a bloody nose. Of course it's going to be intimidating. It's not going to be intimidating.
No.
So, what strikes you as odd as you walk in is that there is no resistance at all. You guys can basically walk straight into this. Which is, of course, the throne room at Tintagel Castle.
Lucha at some point discards the ice pack.
As you get there, sitting high up on her throne is, of course, Kismet, flanked by two people you recognize, the same two people from the splash panel at the very beginning, Nightmare Quinn and the undead Sword of the Twilight. So go ahead and place your guys on the map here.
As we're doing that, Anton's noting, you're in my seat. And it's been so long, I've actually forgotten how to put my token on the map.
I have as well, so.
Okay, so from the Journals tab, click on your character's name and drag it onto the board.
I got you guys. There you go. Helps if I add the right Anton.
Yeah, no, there have been several incantations.
That is true. So you say you look at her, you're on my throne. She looks back. If you want it so badly, all you have to do is take it, my liege. And there is so much vitriol laced in the term of my liege. She hasn't moved to get it from the throne, by the way.
Of course not.
Phantasm sort of just walks right by Anton and says, "You won't have to. I'll take it for him."
Oh, what a pleasant surprise. I was warned about you, and to finally see you in the... She hesitates for a moment. Flesh. Mikutsel Goral. Pleasure to finally see who you are.
It's a shame it's going to be the last thing you see before you die.
You think I am going to die? Please.
I know surely I won't.
She sort of looks at you. No, I don't suppose that's going to be a thing now, is it? Anybody else? Got any snarky comments?
Malkir just looks dead serious and spins out his scythe.
Nope.
All right, then. So the next panel is her sort of rising up with all of her sort of majestic glory. She goes, well, fine then. If you have nothing further to say before I eliminate you from the fabric of reality, then so be it.
Actually,
Enjoy your life.
I do have a question.
She sort of looks at you and rolls her eyes. What?
Is reality really made out of fabric?
Yes, otter skin, my favorite.
Oh, why would you make reality out of otter skin? This doesn't really make any sense. It's really not like a lot of otters to go around. You need a lot of them for that.
Well, of course there's not a lot around, because I made the fabric of reality out of their skin, and you are going to be a nice, lovely cloak.
Mm-hmm.
She looks over at the heavily armored one and goes, "You think his fur would look well dyed yellow?"
Heck no! Oh, very nice golden brown if you have. But hey!
So at this point, she continues her ascent off the throne and does this very, very Daenerys walk down the steps of the throne room, and she's basically telling you, "Let's go. I'm here to kick your bleeps."
Oh, Anton's gonna pull his sword out and not really care.
All right, so Lutra and Fant, I need some initiative rolls, please. Alrighty. With that, we are here. We are at the final battle. She has technically come here. And with that, Phantasm, you are up.
Thanks for bringing that up on my screen right when I was about to. So, Fant kind of looks like he's conjuring something, and then disappears, but is not attacking Kismet. He's actually attacking.
Who is he attacking? You cut out there.
Yeah, I had to hit another button. But he's attacking this guy right here.
All right, the Sword of Twilight. You are definitely going to hit him. He's not going to take any damage from it, but you hit him. As you sort of warp in, attack him, and it's not that he blocks the attack, it's that he's a skeleton, and you stab right through his rib cage where there is nothing.
Does it pin him?
Let's see if it does. You want odds or evens?
I'll take evens.
Okay, for now he's pinned. Her turn. Well, she was going to do one thing, but since Mikutz El Garal has decided to wonderfully put himself right next to her, she's just going to look at you and go, and she's going to she's going to say this in a way that that nobody else can hear but you. They don't know, do they? And as she says that, she is attacking you with the 4th of Fate Barrage.
Yeah, that definitely hits.
Yeah, I think it definitely does. Ignore the multi-attack. That was for she. It's a limited multi-attack where she can attack everyone. It's not a direct multi-attack the way it works. So ignore that text there. But basically, you don't sort of see this because it's Fate. It doesn't really have color unless you have your view magic, which you've seen as the white magic. But on the comic panel, it's just these little sort of like heat shimmer flares, and they just sort of all pepper you at once. And you are surprisingly unscathed by that. And
basically, as the things are coming towards Fant, he's basically immaterializing. So they're sort of just going through clouds of darkness.
Yeah. And she has a look of shock, but at the same time, she has a little smirk on her face, like, this just got interesting.
And as that happens, Fant sort of looks at her and, in the same volume, so no one else can hear, says, "Doesn't really matter if they know. They're all here for the same reason as me."
And we see that in the comic panel. Then we shift to Anton. What are you doing?
Well, Anton not having Arthur around is slightly concerned. Seeing as that's where most of the sword's power comes from. So we're just going with the standard swing the sword at Kismet.
At her?
Yes.
Well, you are going to hit her. And, whoa, you're actually going to hurt her. I'm impressed. I thought it would take a little more than that. But she was not expecting the purified level of the Excalibur she had corrupted. So she's caught off guard as you actually hit her and draw a little blood.
She's probably a little distracted, too.
Yeah, a little bit. Definitely a little bit.
At this point, Anton looks at Kismet. And, you know the funny thing about those who think they're gods? They die when they bleed.
And he was the Sword of Twilight was going to do something, but he has to free himself from the pin here. So his turn, yeah, he'll just sort of. It's a weird way as he gets himself out of this pin. It's not that he sort of pulls the sword out, but because he is a magically assembled skeleton, he falls into a pile of bones and then reassembles himself outside of the pin of the sword. But that is his
turn. Fighting against Alphos. Good luck.
Yeah, that is his pin.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to actually pull the sword out.
Yeah, well,
because it's phantasms, so he can't actually.
Right. Well, that was the thing is he was trying to, and then he's like, "Wait, I can just disassemble." But it takes his whole turn because his standard action was the pulling, and his move action was to disassemble and reassemble. So it takes his full turn. And Malkir is up.
All right. Phantasm and Anton are too close to what I was going to do. So I am going to go on the far side of Mr. Red and use my scythe.
That, unfortunately, is not going to hit anybody. So as you sort of move up and bring the scythe, he just sort of comes up and parries your scythe with the sword he's got almost effortlessly, and he sort of looks and goes, I was hoping I would get to fight you. Lutra.
So as that guy is saying that, Lucha runs directly up next to him and attacks him with Otter Strike. Once I find it on my sheet.
Uh, 22 is not going to hit him.
So what you see is Lucha coming in, swinging at his face with a punch, and instead just kind of missing and just like falling straight forward.
Yeah, he's just at the last second, he sort of, as he parries Malkir's attack, he sort of leaps to him and taunt, and you miss.
I was going to say, I was thinking it's more like he turns his head to taunt at Malkir, and Lucha's just like, whoa. Ah!
He just sort of looks back. You are adorable. You know that, right?
Yes, actually I do, thank you.
And you'll look even better as a pelt on my shoulder. He's swinging around.
Kismet already called me a cloak for her, actually. Just so you know. You'll have to fight her for it.
You're a 5-foot-tall otter. There's enough of you for both of us.
Oh, well, I mean, there's enough for me.
And
he's
bringing his sword down off of Malkir's scythe and spinning around and trying to backhand you with it. He's attacking Lucha with Frostbiting Slash, as the sword sort of reads in this black-blue energy. But I know he's going to miss. As he makes the comment about you being a 5-foot-tall otter and swings over your head anyway.
Yeah, 5 foot down here.
Phantasm is up.
So, Phantasm once again starts conjuring up some magic. Swirls of black and purple and green start surrounding him, and he sort of jumps back and up in the air. And as he does that and turns around, all that energy comes off of him and right towards the skeleton dude.
It's a range attack, correct?
It is.
Then you will actually hit his dodge. Strangely enough. So you hit his dodge as he just sort of gets enveloped by this magical energy. Doesn't take any damage by it. Oh, actually, no, wait. He will take damage by it because I forgot, you're the only one in this party that actually does bludgeoning damage. So I just applied the ability to his toughness instead of having to remember it all the time. You will actually damage him. Oh, no, it doesn't matter. Never mind. 29 minus 5 is 24. Never mind. He won't take any damage. My bad. I'm getting ahead of myself. But you sort of stagger him backwards a little bit, like he wasn't expecting to feel that. It is now her turn, and since you've directly engaged her... Oh. You seem so... What's the word? Oh, yes. Angry at everything. Is there a reason?
You.
She sort of flips her hair back. We could have been so much more. But you decided. And you know, as Anton, she's talking to Arthur, not Anton, and she's saying this. You decided to love that wench instead. We could have been everything. And now you can go visit her back in the hole you crawled out of.
Anything's better than being with you.
In that case, she is going to be power attacking. So take 5 off of this roll of this attack. She's attacking you because she's now pissed. She's attacking you with Force of Fate Blast. And apparently I'm going to roll like a champion anyway. So 24, does that hit you?
Well, it's dodge or parry plus 10.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Dead nut.
Oh, so you'll need to make a DC 34 toughness save. Because she pissed.
Yeah, we're gonna take that free hero point here.
All right, so how are we? Okay, we're re-rolling this. Alrighty. But you get to add 10 to it. So it's a 26. So you'll still get hit by this, but you're gonna weather it sort of a lot more than she thought you were going to. You sort of steel yourself, and you do get the wind knocked out of you a little bit. You're bruised and dazed, but she was expecting to wipe the floor with you. And I'm assuming Anton kind of mad, and Anton it kind of turned.
Yeah. So, question: is Anton able to call upon the power of Arthur yet, or am I still screwed?
You have everything. The only thing you don't have is the communication between you.
Oh,
The sword powers are still there.
sweet.
And being connected to the sword, you know this.
Okay, fair enough. Actually, Anton's gonna make an interesting decision here. She's so in love with her hair, he's gonna target her hair only with a sword slap.
Oh, God. So, there's a small problem with that. She has a reaction ability, which you just triggered. So, go ahead and re-roll. She has 5 uses of this. It's a reaction, so it happens automatically because of the fate protection. You have to re-roll critical hits against her. So, she's used 1 of her 5, so go ahead and re-roll.
I mean, thankfully, he wasted it on her hair or so.
Exactly. So, I mean, you still hit. And, I mean, what are you trying to do with this?
So, Anton, being a master swordsman at this point because of the Excalibur, is trying to scar the beauty that she thinks she has by taking off her hair.
Okay. So you come at her with this massive slash, and her magic instinctively reflects it, but reflects it in such a way that as you spin, you give her the Nancy Kerrigan. And just the locks of hair just fall. And she just sort of, her eyes get wide, and she's seeing red. She is pissed royally at you. And she's mouthing, "How dare you?" But before that, it's the skeleton's turn, who is a little shocked that you managed to hit him, and he actually felt it a little bit. So he's just going to sort of look at you, and he's sort of torn. He wants to so engage you in combat, but he also wants to be safe, especially now that she kind of peed. So he, at this point, is going to point that sword at you, and you've seen him do this before when you fought him in the crypt. He is attacking you with Silent Afterglow. I'm going to need a dodge check, please.
Wait, who's he attacking?
It's Phantasm only. It's a line area.
Okay.
Evasion does apply. Do you have evasion?
I believe my evasion is equated into that. Hold on.
It shouldn't be.
No, it is.
Okay, so it is a 23, so you're going to cut the DC by... you're going to cut the rank of that, so go ahead and make a DC 23 toughness save as opposed to the 28. That'll work. Apparently, y'all stole my buttons this week.
I laugh at him as he does that.
Yeah, like this thing, like he charged them, it rolls right through you, and like he's got this big skeletal smile on his face. He's just like, yeah, and then you're standing there unscathed, and because he's a skeleton, his jaw, literally like the bottom jaw, just started dunk, and hits the floor, and then sort of like reattaches itself back to his mandible. Malkir. Microphone.
I'm going to move it back a bit, but since I have reach, I can still hit. I'm going to target Mr. Red here, I forgot what his name was, with my scythe again.
That also not going to hit.
See, you had
You
that
just
crit
had
earlier,
to
now
waste
you're
it on
paying
your
for it.
perception.
I know, that's going to be one of those nights.
Actually, him getting the 30 on the perception actually is helping you guys out immensely right now. If you guys didn't find that incantation, her toughness would be much higher than it actually is. So, and she would have you'd have an automatic 50% miss chance against her just because of the way the fate magic would have worked. So him getting that crit on that incantation actually is helping you guys quite a lot. But yeah, you step back and he's still managing to parry you, but Lutra, you're up.
Okay. Oh. Just gonna pick himself up. He's gonna take a step back here. He's gonna pull out his crossbow and firing at the big or red guy. Name I don't remember offhand. Jesus Christ. Never mind.
Well, because we have to, we get to do this.
I mean, I'm aiming directly at that guy, and there's no one in line of sight, so...
No, that was the sound of it clanking off his armor.
Oh.
Doesn't have to be my armor.
Yeah, it just clangs off of his armor harmlessly. Apparently you got one, the connectors weren't connected, and it hits him. But it wasn't tasing because, it's short-circuited.
It's duds, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, shoot, I forgot to turn it on. Just see Malkir in the distance just rolling his eyes like, oh.
He just sort of looks at both of you and goes, you two. You really need to stop.
Malkir looks over at Lutra and just shouts, remember what I taught you?
Yeah, I forgot to turn that. At least I didn't shoot it at you. Or Anton. Again.
He just sort of at this point, he holds up the sword, smiles at Malkir, looks straight at Malkir, points the sword back at Lutra, and fires. He's using Infernal Wind Blast.
He hits.
Then I'll need a toughness save of DC 28.
Or
a hero point with a really cool description of how you dodge it.
Well, it's an Infernal Wind Blast, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, because my toughness is 9, so what I'm going to do, yeah. So instead of doing that, what Lucha ends up doing is that, what is it, like a fire blast coming at him? Or Infernal Wind Blast?
It's basically a wind blast. Like, you've seen Fant do it, you've seen Ven do it, it's that sort of same thing, but this one is sort of wreathed in this sort of blackish, reddish energy. For those of you who are in the know, it says editor's note, Hellfire.
Gotcha. Alright, so, at the last possible moment, gosh, I don't want to do something stupid, just like duck down or whatnot. That'd be dumb. Lucha I got it. Lucha, like, leans back on his tail, looking like he's going to try to do something really crazy, and instead falls backwards. Like, ah! and doing so, it ends up, like, going over him.
So he tries to do some really cool tail stuff, and then his tail's just like, nope, I don't like this crap. Boop.
Right, it's like, you know what? I should probably practice balancing on things if I'm going to do something like that.
Fair enough. Fant, you're up.
All right. So since Fant sort of jumped back into the air to throw his wind blast, we're gonna get some Sumerian Shade.
All right, so they have to make some dodgy checks here.
Yes. Luckily, I wasted a 3 on that.
Okay. Interestingly enough, he who has the highest dodge out of all of them. Yeah, that's bananas. And this is a fortitude effect, right? Or it's a damage effect with the fortitude affliction. Okay. The skeleton's going to be immune to the fortitude affliction part of this. So 27 toughness. He'll bruise him. She has to do a 22 toughness and then the fortitude save. Oh yeah, she's completely unaffected by that. And that. And not that one. This one. Of course, right? So you bruise the skeleton.
That's okay because I'm actually going to use one of my hero points to power stunt this ability.
Okay.
And because the ability is wind based, when I land, all that wind sort of gathers and absorbs all of her hair and carries it into the flame of Malkir's scythe.
You can keep the hero point for that because there's no need for you to waste a hero point on that because that's just awesome. And at this point, she is ridiculously pissed off now. And she's just getting angrier and angrier. And at this point, she's just like, you both will pay for that. And she is now all out attacking with Force of Fate Barrage. So she's multi-attacking 4 people. So it's going to be a base roll because all out attack is +5 to the roll and -5 to active defenses. And with the multi-attack, it's an additional -1 per. So 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be a flat roll. I'm going to go in order. So Phantasm, of course. Anton, she'll miss there. Malkir and Lutra.
That's a miss.
Okay, so Malkir will need to make a DC 29 toughness save. And Krim, Phantasm will have to make a DC 34 toughness save. She was really mad at you. Microphone.
Oh, I used my hero point to try and reroll that.
I highly suggest that. So Fant will take a bruise and a daze. Malkir will take a bruise and a daze. But for those of you with any sort of tactical combat training, Anton, Malkir, Fant, you definitely know that you've got her off balance and she has definitely opened herself up to attack.
Do you want to know the funniest thing right now, Tej?
What's up? Push to talk. Can't hear you.
I have literally been rolling everything with an injury on.
Oh, wow.
It's only a -1.
Yeah, but I go to add an injury and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. So, Anton, you're up.
Oh, knowing she's off balance, Anton is going to take his sword and charge straight at her. Still slashing, stabbing type deal.
Okay, you will definitely hit. Did you want to power attack at all?
Yeah, sure. We'll go power attack.
All right, so power attack, if you have the advantage, I don't know if you do.
Let me actually look.
Okay. If you do not have the advantage, it takes 2 off of your attack roll and adds 2 to your DC. If you have the advantage, you can do anywhere from 1 to 5.
I have to actually open the sheet now.
Also, I love how the one time you've crit her so far, it was on her hair.
I mean, she's not happy about that.
No, she's not happy about that at all.
Hero Labs is doing its thing. Give me a second.
No, that's fine.
Pretty sure we gave him all out attack, but I don't remember. Or power attack. Is it power attack, right?
Power attack, yes.
What's that under?
Advantages.
Yes, power attack.
Okay, so we'll do the full 5 then, I'm assuming.
Yes.
All right, so this is actually a DC 32. Didn't matter. I'm rolling like a champion. It is the skeleton's turn, who is still kind of mad at Fant, who is now happily sitting right in front of him. So he's finally going to be able to do a... He is coming at you with Sunset Slash. 1 does a 22 hit.
Is that melee?
That's a parry.
Yes, it does.
And by how many tiers?
Just 1.
Okay, so DC 27.
Yep, re-rolling.
He comes at you in a flurry of motions, and you gracefully just sort of reflect them all. Malk.
Seeing that Kismet is off balance, I too will go after her in turn.
Let's see what you're
I'm
doing
going
here.
to use a hero point reroll that.
I thought you might. Because even with her at -5, that will still miss. That one won't, though. Were you doing any power attack shenanigans?
Sure, why not?
All right, how much?
Yeah, I'll go to the full 5.
All right, you will still hit. I couldn't tell you until afterward. All right, so that's going to be a 34. Apparently, I'm rolling like an absolute champion today. Wow. Apparently, you guys give me my dice back.
Well, I mean,
Lutra, you're up.
she's got plus 18 everything. I mean, she has a better than 50% chance of absorbing everything, at least I've got. So there's no point in using this move, or this one, or that one. Yeah. Let's see here. All right. Okay, I guess I'll go after, seeing everybody else is piling on Kismet, I guess I'll charge in and do the same.
You hit. And because she is she all out attack, that's actually going to be all 3 tiers. So that's a 32. I feel really bad.
So, move by action allows me to move away again, right?
Correct, yes.
Because I don't want to be grouped into this, because we've already seen a few, like, area attacks and whatnot, so it's going to move up here.
Yep. And you are absolutely correct on the area, because that's exactly what he's going to be doing. He is using Maelstrom Apocalypse as he just sort of brings down this tornado of the same colored energy that tried to attack you with that wind blast. It's basically the eye of this tornado is coming down right on Kismet. It's not going to affect any of them because it's got selective, but it is going to get Phantasm and Anton in the cylinder. So I'm going to need dodge checks from the 2 of you guys.
Oh, just the 2 of them?
Yep.
Okay.
The other 2 are out of the way.
Fair.
All right. Ignore my notes. Those are for something else. Anton? Oh, there's your dodge. So Anton missed it by 1. Fant got it dead nut. So Anton is going to need to make a DC 20... wow, I can't even do my math. A DC 27 toughness check. And Phantasm is going to have to make a DC 22 toughness check.
Yeah, we're gonna use that last hero point on that because.
All right. There you go. So there's just this swirling amalgamation of energy, and you guys get buffeted like, boom, 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 boom. And he is shocked when you both come out unscathed. And Fant, you are up.
Okay, Fant is still sort of angry about what Kismet just did. But is sort of just gonna still take his aggression out on the skeleton.
Oh, yes. You have.
I love how Kismet gets angry at me and crit, so I get angry and crit the skeleton.
You get angry and crit her skeleton. You will bruise him. And he was not expecting the flurry of blows that you did, and he doesn't know he's been hit. But it is her turn. And furious that her last trick didn't work, she is at this point just ridiculously mad at everything. So she is trying to just like, that's it. I'm done. I'm done with all of you. But you especially, Mutants. You're going back early. And she is using Force of Fate Jinx. But I don't think an 18 hits you.
It hits neither, so yeah.
Okay, so don't have to worry about that. Anton.
All right, so Anton's still going after not necessarily Kismet's body with attacks. Anton's going to summon his wings from the sword and fly to the throne and sit down.
Okay. So, as this sort of happens, a couple of things, as Anton sits down on the throne, a couple of things are going to happen. This is going to be another one of those full-page comic spreads here. As he sits, as he's touched to touch the throne, Excalibur itself starts to glow. And it emits this sort of light. And we see on the outside of the castle, the light that is being emitted from Excalibur is combining with the magic that Ven is sort of chanting. And the first thing that happens is the sort of visages of Kismet in the castle fade and crumble. The second thing that happens is her underlings disappear because she has removed them. So there are a couple other things that's going on there. So by claiming the throne of Tintagel Castle and returning it to its rightful owner, you have cut her off from more of her power. And as long as its rightful owner remains in the throne, she will be continue to be cut off from that power. Malkir, you are up.
Huh.
So Malkir is going to rush Kismet and attempt, and going to fail, of course, because that's what I do best.
That will miss, only because she didn't all-out attack this turn. But she is definitely angry. Like, her attention is almost solely focused on Anton at the throne. But it's not like she was dodging, it's that what fate magic she still has remaining sort of just shimmied her out of the way. Lutra.
Okay, so still not 100% certain how this works entirely, but seeing her focus on Anton, I have an ability called Otter Spear.
Okay.
It's like a 2-pronged attack or something like that. I'm not sure.
Basically, how multiple effect attacks work is if they get damaged by the first effect of the attack, then they make a save for the second effect of the attack. So
Gotcha.
if one part affects them, the other one does. In the case of the spear, in this point, if she gets damaged by it, then you get to do the move object, or the prone version of it. That will hit her. That will hit her. And because she's lost a lot of her magic protection, she's no longer at the 18 toughness you've been calculating.
Oh my god.
She's at a 9, and I rolled a 2. So, yeah, she's going to take 2 bruises and a staggered. And let's see how this works. You don't sort of like pin her to the ground. You just come and you shoulder tackle her, and you get right into the midsection. You kind of like King Hippo, where it's like, woo!
Right.
And you just like, I mean, she is like, and she's shocked that she didn't think that this much of her power she had entwined into the castle. And
she does one of those wrestling things where he spears her, and then she like kind of pops up like, oh god.
And Fant, you are up. She is definitely reeling at this point.
Fant just sort of standing right over her, looks down, and all this dark energy, like, raises up from him and comes cascading down on her.
You hit. Not by any tears, but you hit. Of course, right?
Okay, but I'm going to use my hero point to use the move again.
Okay.
So it's basically just a continuous cascade.
Roll it again. Okay. I was having you roll it again to see how much I was giving you. Okay. So we are going to shift this. We are going to shift this into narrative form now. So we get the following in the comic panels, and it's just scene after scene. Anton spreads these wings, jumps over, sits on the throne, sort of depowering all of Kismet. Malkier, while not actively hitting her, takes a swing with his scythe that spins her directly into the oncoming spear of Lutra. In the background, you hear Jim Ross going, "By God, she's broken in half!"
Lutra! Lutra! Lutra!
And then as she rolls off of that, Phantasm just envelops her in this column of black energy. And then we sort of get like the full on, like she's in the tornado, just like, and you get the bubble of, I'm immortal, this can't be happening. And then it's sort of like the fading away as she's fading away from reality. Damn you, Miku. And then there's just the 4 of you standing in Tintagel Castle.
Kind of pops up, looks around, and like, is that it? Did we do it? She looks around like kind of cluelessly.
Phantasm sort of falls to a knee, kind of exhausted, because basically to the other 3, what they saw was just continuous energy coming out of Phantasm, going up in the air and sweeping around and just pummeling her over and over and over and over again.
Lucha kind of stumbles over towards Phantasm. Kind of looks at him, looks down at her, looks where
she's
she's.
not there. She's
yeah,
gone.
no,
She's figured out.
that's why I would look at where she was. Looks over at you and it's kind of collapses into a hug into you. Oh my gosh, we did it!
Can I do a perception check to see if I notice if anything is like actually still in the area?
Sure. Everything looks like whatever influence she had is gone. What you do see, though, is sort of a superimposed double image on the throne. There's definitely Anton there, and it definitely looks like a ghostly visage of Arthur is also sitting on the throne. The comic panel looks kind of cool, but also at the same time really creepy.
Malkir kind of stares at the throne and still like battle already, not quite certain that it's over yet.
Fant looks up at Lutra. He's like, "It is over. It is finally over. You can go home now."
You mean we can go home, right?
You get to go back to 2008. Everything's going to return to how it was. And all of this fate, magic, and everything else is no longer going to be a problem for Bay City.
As this speech is going on, the castle has started to not crumble, but start to dissolve from the ramparts upward or on downward.
It's a load-bearing boss.
Yeah, of course it is.
Right? Okay. 2 questions. 1, you sound like you're not coming with us. And 2, oh my gosh, the castle's dissolving. What do we do?
We leave, Lutra. Arthur's told me his time is up.
Oh, okay.
He's now going to rest as well. His quest is over.
Right, I get all that, but my bigger concern wasn't this castle flying? And aren't we standing in midair now?
Nah, not yet, but we should probably go get on the plane.
Yes.
Pretty quick.
As you said, it's time to go, Lucha.
Right, let's go. Where is the plane, considering we jumped here?
The plane was, like, literally landed right in front of the...
Oh, okay.
You guys all know that the last time you dealt with any sort of time travel, it didn't matter where you were standing. Everything faded out of you anyway, and then you just ended up back where you were supposed to. So I'll give you that one at least.
Okay.
I mean, the reaction's still the same. We're running.
So
Right.
we get this sort of montage scene of people starting to sort of move out as this castle sort of dissolves around them.
Well, everyone except Phantasm.
Lucia looks back towards Phantasm one time. Where are you?
As Lutra looks back towards Phantasm, he sees Phantasm, but almost ethereal.
Lucia just kind of stops and looks up at him and says, "Am I ever going to see you again?"
Fant does not audibly say anything anymore, but Lutra can actually hear Fant in his head. And the voice he hears says, "Lutra, I've always been outside of fate." I won't be returning.
Lucia nods kind of sadly and says, "Well, safe travels then, my friend."
I can finally rest in peace.
Indeed, then.
And that's sort of like that thought bubble is the last as you guys escape the castle as the last bits of it fade, including Phantasm. Then there's my stereotypical tropey white light. And even though you guys were underneath the triangle when you guys came here, you all sort of, well, the 3 of you, Lutra, Malkir, and Anton, all appear back in what you recognize as your old barracks in Bay City, circa 2008.
Lucha kind of like gives a start like he's just woken up from a dream or something like that. Like, huh? 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 Hey, we're back. We're here. Guys! Lucha gets up and starts runs over toward Anton Melchior.
Yes, Lutra.
Are you guys okay?
I'm fine.
We did what we set out to do, Lucha. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah. Hunter! Oh! Lucha looks around and starts running back towards like Casey's office.
Door is locked.
Lucia knocks.
No answer.
Hunter, are you there?
You get no response from the computer system.
Melchior goes to his domicile and starts packing his stuff up.
Give me a perception check.
Malk?
Yes, Mock here.
Oh, so I can use this picture again.
Hey, I remember that one.
It actually didn't take much, so even a 13 will get this. You see something shimmering behind the door, like right next to the door frame.
In my domicile or by like...
In your room, specifically, yes.
Well, okay, obviously I'll go investigate.
And it is a katana.
Okay, I would acquire said katana.
You've acquired katana.
Insert fanfare music.
Okay, I guess I'll do an insight check to see if I know something about it. Then if I
You know exactly what it is. You don't need to make an insight check. You know exactly whose katana this is. What?
Hey, Lutra. Do you want me to open that door?
No, I don't think anyone's there anyway.
So, are you guys heading back to your barrack section or what?
Yeah, Lucha's gonna kind of like go into his room and kind of peek inside.
Okay. Well, first, when Anton enters his room, he doesn't need to do an insight or a perception check because it is laying like right on his end table. There is a necklace with a green ring attached to it. And in Lucha's room, sprawled across his bed, is a trench coat.
Lucha just kind of picks it up, kind of looks at it. It's like, oh. He gives a bit of a smile, hangs it up real nice. And steps outside of his barrack. Looks over his piano, which I'm assuming is actually there.
The piano is there, yes.
Kind of gives a quick like backhand like brush of the keys gently just to kind of feel it again. He gives a sigh, kind of walks back outside, out into the main area, looks around, it's like, where is everybody else?
So, we get to the last page of the comic.
Oh, 1 second. So before we do that,
Yep.
So Anton's gonna pick up the ring and necklace and put it on and just kind of looks kind of up at the sky and says, thanks, old friend, for everything.
So we get to the last page of the
if it
comic.
cut to Malkir's room, he's just kind of like on one knee and just like with sword in hand, just like knowing what it symbolizes, with his head bowed, kind of like in just like a modicum of respect.
So at this point, we get to the last page of the comic, and you all are sort of coming out of the room. Whether or not you have your sort of your tokens with you or not is another story. But as you all sort of exit at the same time, you see coming into the room, holding a couple of boxes of pizza, is a face that you guys definitely recognize. This is the first time you've seen it, well, vertical. And there's Hunter standing there holding a couple of boxes of pizza. Big smile on his face. And the last sort of icon, last sort of word bubble in the last page of the comic is, "What took you long enough?"
Lucha, like, literally pounces towards him.
And then the last page is him pouncing, and that's sort of like the last page of the comic book.
Hunter!
So, thank you all very much for watching. This has been the conclusion of Volume 4. I'm not sure if we're going to be going next week. I might need a couple weeks to get everything going. But we will be coming up with Volume 5. We're not going to keep you in the dark too much there. So we'll find out what happens continuing on. But again, as for right now, thank you all very much for watching. If you haven't done so already, click the follow buttons on all of our social media. You can find everybody, basically you can find everybody here on Twitter at their usernames, at Crimson Addicts, at OPT Lawyer, at Dark Falls. I am at Greenleaf Effect. Nora doesn't have a Twitter, so don't worry about that. At BCC Anton, if you really need to get a hold of him. But again, thank you all very much for watching. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, a wonderful Memorial Day. Thank you for going on this journey with us so far, and we're going to continue on in Volume 5. I will give you guys a little teaser. If you weren't watching last week with Milton City, the arc, Volume 5 is called Bellum Novus. So with that, thank you all for watching, and remember, keep hailing.